The Kansas prairie stretched endlessly, an ocean of dry grass swaying under a violet dusk sky. In the heart of this desolate land stood a crooked farmhouse, weather-beaten and leaning slightly to one side as if it had grown tired of standing. For miles in every direction, there was nothing, no neighbors, no cities, not even a dirt road. The silence of this land was heavy, pressing against your chest, broken only by the occasional howl of wind. Inside the farmhouse lived Muriel Bagg, a kind-hearted Scottish woman with hair the color of winter snow, and her husband, Eustace Bagg, a grumpy farmer who rarely smiled. Their companion, a small pink dog with wide, expressive eyes, was named Courage. Courage was no ordinary dog. Though his name implied bravery, his knees trembled at every shadow, and his heart pounded like a drum at the creak of the old house. But no one, not even Courage himself, knew how far his love for Muriel would push him. For in Nowhere, Kansas, darkness did not merely lurk in corners. It crept, it hunted, and it never rested. That evening, a storm rolled across the plains. The sky turned the color of bruises, and jagged lightning danced on the horizon. Muriel hummed softly as she knitted by the fireplace, the crackle of flames filling the room. Courage sat by her feet, ears twitching at every gust of wind rattling the windows. Eustace, as always, was buried behind his newspaper, muttering about farm work. "Wind's picking up," he grumbled. "Storm will ruin the crops." But Courage wasn't listening. He could feel it, the heaviness in the air, that strange pressure that came when something was wrong. He crept to the window, his large eyes scanning the empty plains. And there, under a flash of lightning, he saw it. A figure stood motionless at the edge of the property. Tall, impossibly thin, its limbs bending at odd angles. Even from a distance, Courage could feel its gaze piercing through the glass. He whimpered, tugging at Muriel's dress. "What is it, Courage?" Muriel asked gently, looking up from her knitting. But when she followed his gaze, there was nothing outside but the swaying grass. "It's just your imagination, silly dog," she said, patting his head. But Courage knew better. The creature had vanished. Not walked away, not disappeared into fog, it had simply ceased to exist in the blink of an eye. That wasn't imagination. That was danger. Hours passed. The storm worsened, battering the house with rain and wind. Eustace went to bed grumbling about leaky windows. Muriel tidied the kitchen, humming softly, while Courage sat in the dark hallway, ears alert. He couldn't shake the image of those glowing, hollow eyes. And then came the knock. It was soft, deliberate, 3 slow knocks that echoed through the empty house. Courage's fur stood on end. Muriel, unsuspecting, went to the door. "Who could that be in this weather?" she muttered, reaching for the handle. Courage barked frantically, throwing himself in front of the door, but Muriel laughed. "Courage, stop it. Whoever it is must be freezing." The door creaked open. Lightning lit the porch, but there was no one there. Only a package lay on the step, wrapped in faded brown paper. Muriel picked it up, shutting the door behind her. "Oh my, what a strange package," she said. The tag had no address, no name, just a symbol carved into the paper, an eye with a vertical slit pupil. Courage growled low. The house seemed colder. Muriel placed the package on the table and carefully peeled away the paper. Inside was a small wooden box, old and splintered, with intricate carvings of snakes wrapping around its surface. A soft humming sound seemed to come from within, like a distant voice trapped in the wood. "What a beautiful box!" Muriel exclaimed. But Courage's instincts screamed at him. He barked and pawed at Muriel's skirt, urging her to put it away. "Oh hush, Courage! It's just a box." Muriel gently opened the lid. The humming grew louder, a haunting melody that filled the room. Inside lay a cracked porcelain mask, pale as bone, with wide hollow eyes and a painted smile. The lights flickered. A gust of icy wind swept through the house, though all the windows were shut. Courage's heart pounded. That night, Muriel placed the mask on a shelf in the living room. She went to bed humming softly, Eustace snoring loudly beside her. But Courage stayed awake, staring at the mask. The mask stared back. At midnight, the house creaked. Courage's ears twitched as he crept into the hallway. The mask was gone. A soft whisper echoed through the dark. "Forund, you." Courage turned, and there it was, the creature from earlier. It loomed in the hallway, wearing the mask. Its limbs bent like broken tree branches, its smile painted and hollow. Its eyes glowed faintly beneath the mask's empty sockets. Courage screamed, bolting down the hallway. He dashed into Muriel's room, barking wildly. Muriel awoke groggily, but before she could react, the creature was there, towering at the doorway. "Who are you?" Muriel whispered, clutching the blanket. The entity stepped forward, its limbs clicking like wooden joints. It spoke in a voice like wind through a graveyard. "Give it back." Courage, panicking, leaped onto the old computer in the attic. His paws flew over the keyboard. "What is this creature?" he typed desperately. The computer groaned to life, scanning the image of the mask Courage had uploaded. "Legend, the Mask of the Hollow One," it said. "A cursed artifact. Whoever possesses it draws the Hollow One, a vengeful spirit. Only way to banish, break the mask under moonlight." Courage gulped. The storm was still raging. He'd have to go outside. The Hollow One glided toward Muriel, skeletal fingers reaching out. Courage snarled, grabbing the mask off the shelf and sprinting for the door. The entity shrieked, shaking the walls. Furniture levitated. Windows shattered. Lightning split the sky as Courage dashed into the field, mud splashing under his tiny paws. The Hollow One followed, an unearthly scream tearing through the storm. Courage reached a hill where the moon broke through the clouds. He raised the mask high and smashed it against a rock. The porcelain shattered into 1,000 pieces, glowing blue before vanishing in a flash of light. The Hollow One screamed once more, its body twisting, unraveling like smoke. In seconds, it was gone. Silence fell over the plains. By morning, the farmhouse was still. Muriel awoke, safe in her bed, with no memory of the horrors that had occurred. Eustace grumbled about a draft. Courage sat by the window, exhausted but relieved. He had saved them again. Nobody would know the battles he fought in the night, or the fear he swallowed every time a shadow moved. But that didn't matter. Because Courage wasn't just a cowardly dog. He was a hero, too. The Kansas prairie stretched out endlessly, calm and still. But Courage knew better than to trust the silence. In nowhere, Kansas, danger always found its way home.